It's time to die.
I have experienced paranormal activity in my house. Fuck, did you guys hear his fucking movements? Opening. Oh.
It's way too many fake niggas. I'm tired of fake niggas. Sneak dissing, but be all in my face.
I'm gonna get so much freaking dollars that you don't even know it. Ah!
Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to the 7th review for the month of Gorror. That's right, we're already on 7. Yeah, that's right, I'm doing these reviews this time. It's only the first 10 days and I've already done 7 reviews. Yeah, I'm backlogged with other movies, but at least I'm doing this, so I can get to those ones later. But this time I'm taking a look at a movie I did see a couple months ago. Sinister 2, which, if you know me, I am a huge fan of the first Sinister movie. And I'm not going to take too much of your time with this one, because I really have not much to say at all about Sinister 2. Because Sinister 2, I wasn't even going to review. I was just going to be like, that's just such a nothing movie that it doesn't even matter. But I guess I have to, because I'm such a big fan of the first one. And yeah, I have to tell you about this. Okay, Sinister 1 I loved. Ethan Hawke was amazing in that film. I thought he was so interesting and likable, and you wanted to see him pull through. The scares were really effective. Jump scares were some of the best I've seen that year. The cinematography, I wouldn't say the cinematography, just the camera work itself was great. It was just really spooky. The lighting, all that stuff. It was just really spooky, very well written. This movie, not so much. This movie, I will give it credit. There's some good stuff in it. Like James Ransoon comes back as the deputy so-and-so from the first movie. He comes back, and I really like that guy, and he's a cool little... it's cool to see him as the lead now, which I thought was really, really interesting, that they actually really did continue the story from the first one. I thought, when I heard Sinister 2, they're going to just do a completely new family, and it won't have anything to do with the first one. Maybe they'll mention the first one, but that's it. But no, it really is a straight-up sequel in a way, because this guy, James Ransom, wants to know what happened to the Ethan Hawke's family, and he wants to figure it out and maybe stop it if he can. And his story is really interesting. I would even say the story about the mother and the 2 children and the abusive father is actually interesting too. And I thought, what's her name, was really good. Shannon Sossamon. I was so happy to see her again. I really like that. I really like her, that actress. I was gonna say. I think she's a great actress. And I was really happy to see her in it, and she was great. And whenever her and James Ransom is together, they're good. They're good actors, and you could feel like a relationship kind of building. So I like that. Main problem is that the movie is not scary one bit. There was not one moment where I was like, oh I'm freaked out. The whole scene in the trailer where he's lifting the flashlight down and lifting it up, down and up, that was the only kind of scary moment from the trailer. They ruined it obviously by putting it in the trailer. I saw the trailer 8 times, so I knew exactly what was going to happen. But if that wasn't in the trailer, maybe that would have been the one scene I was like, oh, that was kind of spooky. But that's not even enough for me to tell you, hey, this movie's kind of scary because the flashlight thing was scary. No, the movie is not scary whatsoever. The cinematography's okay, all that stuff, the camera work, whatever, the shots they got. It looks nice. It's a nice looking film. They did a good job with making the cornfield look very isolated. This house is isolated in the middle of this cornfield, and no one's gonna help them. The first one, Sinister 1, didn't need to do that because they were in the middle of just a regular neighborhood. So they didn't really need to do that and still make it feel isolated. They didn't need to make it actually isolated. They did it all by themselves by just having the house be in a neighborhood but still feel isolated, if that makes sense. This movie, no, they just had to put it in a cornfield with a bunch of corn and all that. Scary. There's nobody else around, so no help's really coming. So it works. It works, but it's kind of lazy considering how the first one did it so well without actually having to be isolated. But Bagul is in the movie for maybe 2 minutes. I don't see why everybody was saying he's in it too much. He's barely in it, actually, I think. And I think Bagul in the first one was really scary. I thought he was a scary creation because you didn't see him too much. Sure, he had the long hair. He did look like a punk rock star or something like that. A lot of people say he looks like someone from a Norwegian pop punk band, which, sure, fine. Yeah, he kind of does, but he's still creepy. He does creepy things, and his whole story about him taking children and making them into killers and stuff is really, really interesting. This whole story about the one brother wanting to be a killer and the other one is like picked specifically by Bagul to be the killer is interesting as well. If you've seen the film, you know what I'm talking about. If not, it doesn't matter. But it's just not scary. And also it doesn't help that the actors, the little kid actors, are not that good. They're not terrible, but they're just not that good. So yeah, the whole point of this movie is to be scary and even maybe some violence, you know, with the found tapes and stuff like the first movie where you see the tapes and people are getting like ran over with lawnmowers. In that movie, they didn't need to show really a lot of violence in those tapes. Like the person getting ran over with a lawnmower, you don't even get to see any violence. It's just like person gets ran over by a lawnmower, and it's creepy because you never see what happens after that. You're seeing a POV shot of the lawnmower moving, and then someone is on the ground and it runs them over. You don't see anything else. And that's why it was creepy. In this one, they show a whole scene where rats dig out from like inside a person's stomach and then outside the side of their like body and stuff, and it's violent. It's very violent. You know, I guess it's kind of creative, but it's not what made the first Sinister scary. You know, the first Sinister, it didn't show people's, you know, heads getting cut off or whatever. It showed blood, sure, but it didn't show tons of violence. It was all about the scares and even the story with the characters. In this movie, it's about the characters. Sure, I'll give it that. The characters are likable. At least the main two, the female, the mom and the cop. But besides that, I don't really care for this film. I know I'm all over the place with this review, but to be honest, I didn't want to review this. I didn't, but I had to get my opinion out considering it's the month of Gorror. I like some of the plots. I even like the whole, like I said before, the two brothers fighting for the, I guess, the affection of Bagul. Like, which one's going to be the one that becomes part of Bagul's creepy Children of the Corn Squad. I thought that was kind of interesting, but besides that, I don't know. I'm going to give this, I don't hate it. I'm not going to give it a 1 out of 10 like IGN did. I don't know what the hell they were thinking, whoever reviewed that. But I'm still going to give it, yeah, I'm going to give it 18 out of 40. It's disappointing. It really is. It's not scary one bit. And every time they tried to be scary, it kind of annoyed me. So there you go. That's my review for Sinister 2. I hope you enjoyed it. And that was the 7th review for the month of Gorror. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you and goodbye.